Let's talk very specifically and briefly about the struggle for recurring monthly stimulus for Americans. And there are 2 points that I want to make here. The first is that the problem that our society, the American people, the problem that we will have in this fight for recurring monthly stimulus, which many people support, the problem is not going to be the president. The problem is not going to be the House of Representatives. The problem is going to be with the Senate. And I know that, especially if you've been listening to the show over time, or even if you haven't been listening to the show, but you've been kind of keeping your eye on what's been happening politically, and you're aware of the shift that we saw in control in the Senate to now having it being a Democratic majority. You're probably like, what? Like, Brittany, I thought that, the Senate was all green and gold because it's now blue. Look, yes, in fact, the Senate is still slightly more blue, like literally slightly more blue than it is red. But again, the Senate is still going to be a problem. The Senate is going to be a problem because in order for us to have legislation that will produce recurring monthly stimulus, we have to have the legislation come from the House and then go to the Senate, where it will then go to the president. Okay. And again, in the House, we won't have a problem. The problem is going to be when it gets to the Senate. While we do have a slim majority in the Senate, we literally cannot have a situation where any Democrat in the Senate votes against recurring monthly stimulus. And quite frankly, I cannot say with certainty that we are guaranteed that type of situation if we were to have this type of legislation put up for a vote, this type of bill put up for a vote in the Senate. I'm like literally like 30% certain that we can get every single Democrat in the Senate to go ahead and vote yay on that type of legislation. But that, even if you assume that every Democrat in the Senate votes yay, yes, that still in and of itself, at least by regular procedures, is not enough to see the type of the number of votes that would be required for actual passage. We'd need one of two situations to play out. The first situation that we would have to have play out to have success on this issue in the Senate is we'd have to have 10 Republicans, in addition to every Democrat that is in the Senate. They'd have to go and all vote yay to reach that 60 vote threshold. Okay? You'd have to have 10 Republicans cross over. Again, I'm not even certain we could get every Democrat over there to vote yay on this. If we don't have that situation play out, there is one other kind of situation that can give us the yields that we want, that will result in recurring monthly stimulus for the American people. The other kind of alternative reality that we can hope to see that would give us what we want is a situation where we have something called reconciliation. And this is where, instead of having the required 60 votes to pass, we go through a different process, again called reconciliation, and it lowers that number of votes that we need in order to have passage. And that's 51. But again, even that situation would require, again, every single Democrat to vote yay. And it also would require the tiebreaker, who is the Vice President Kamala Harris, to vote yay on it as well. Those are our only two options. The only two options that we have. So again, the problem is not going to be in the House of Representatives. The problem will be in the Senate. And I guess you could say, considering kind of the situations that I just threw at you, I guess you could say that, quite honestly, it's not just the Republicans that can be the issue. It's even Democrats, because again, I'm not even certain that all Democrats would go along to get along for the sake of passage of legislation that would give Americans recurring monthly stimulus payments. So that said, to be frank, to be very, very frank, even though I know our organization, an organization that is focused on COVID-19 economic stimulus and relief, an organization that wants to support politicians that want to see sufficient COVID-19 relief given to the American people, an organization that wants to oppose politicians that want to fight sufficient or deny sufficient economic stimulus and relief to the American people. Even though we want to see in an ideal world recurring monthly stimulus, I have to be very frank with you. As much as I would like to say, well, yeah, hey, we got this letter from House Democrats, and we've got more people who are on board to go ahead and give us recurring monthly stimulus. I have to be real with you. I've always been real with you, right? I was real with you all the last year with what we were going through with the stimulus, when you had other people out there saying, oh, any moment now. When Nancy Pelosi was selling you guys on the hopium saying, oh, I'm very confident. Like, I was like, look, we're not going to see anything till 2021. And then finally, actually, my exact words were post-election, until after the election. And I was saying that months before a lot of other people got on that train. A lot of other people were still on the any day now. Oh, this can be it. And I was like, look, let me keep it real with you. And so I'm going to do the same with you now, even though it's not what a lot of you would like to hear. It's not what our organization wants to hear. We want to hear that, hey, this letter is the start of us getting recurring economic stimulus out to the American people. That's what we fight for. But the reality is that even with this letter being signed by more Democrats, more progressives, the fact of the matter is that ongoing monthly stimulus relief for the American people most likely will not happen, at least in this moment. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but in this moment, when you consider the many different contributing factors to the decisions that politicians make regarding their decisions to support or oppose different types of stimulus, the environment is not conducive to us seeing recurring monthly stimulus, even with calls from progressives, even with more people signing on. And I'm telling you this, the reason I've done this today is because I want you to be informed. Because you are going to have people out there telling you, yes, we got this letter out, and now, $2,000 a month is right around the corner, and get your bank accounts ready. And no. The truth is, this letter, it carries a lot of political weight to the people for the people that signed it. When they go back to their constituents, they can wave the letter and say, look at my signature. But it takes more than these people, significantly more people than the people that signed this letter, to be on board to actually move the political needle and give us the change that we need to see. So when you hear those people telling you any minute now, when you hear those people saying, see, this is proof, us progressives, we are definitely going to get, understand that this is what it is, and this is not something that is going to actually yield us recurring monthly stimulus payments during this pandemic.